Good evening. Welcome to Fireside Chat. I'm Suzanne Susanna. This is Oliver, wonderful guide dog Oliver. And we just came back from the gym a little while ago. Ollie's such a great gym buddy. He goes around on the equipment with me and just lies down while I do each piece of equipment. And he is just such a good buddy. He's so patient and tolerant, and he's been in an incredibly good mood because we've been able to walk a lot this week. Between Sunday afternoon, Monday, and Tuesday, I think we walked over 40,000 steps because the weather was nice, and even though I could have just kept working all afternoon, I made myself stop and go out, remembering when it was all ice out there and it wasn't even an option to go out for a walk. So we got out for some great walks. Today is not so nice. It's a little dreary, rainy, kind of damp, a little bit chilly. But hey, we're getting there, right? It's April, and we know we go through this every year. It's hard to be patient, but better days are coming, and it's just so exciting. Plus, with the long evenings, you can have a busy work day and then still get out for a great walk in the evening. So we've been really enjoying the longer evenings and the better weather. It just makes you realize how good it is for you to get out and move. He's been so much happier, and it's really cute and just like happy dog all the time. Not that he's never not a happy dog, but I could see a big difference with all the movement, all the exercise. So I've just been thinking about someone in a talk that was shared recently talked about the little bumper cars. Well, they're not really bumper cars, but little cars at Disney World that little kids can drive. So they're on a rail, and the kid can actually steer the steering wheel and make it turn one way or the other. And the car does turn, but then it will only go so far, and the rail stops it. And I really enjoyed the talk and this thinking, and it was kind of on the premise of how we need to have a guiding rail in life. And I've been thinking about boundaries and how much I need to set boundaries around myself for various things. And even setting a boundary of how many hours I worked versus getting out and walking. It's so easy to just keep working and not give yourself that time to get out and walk. But the value of getting out, getting the fresh air, and getting the walking is it probably makes the next day when you're working more productive than if you had continued working throughout the rest of the afternoon and evening, right? So when you're an achiever or really focused on things that need to be done, it's very hard to step away and take that time for a different thing and for yourself. And so I've just been thinking about also about food boundaries and how much I need to have like that guiding rail around the foods that I consume. And I had several days where I had a little more grains than I typically have. They were gluten-free grains, but gluten-free food, whether it's pasta or pizza crust or any type of gluten-free, like a burger bun. So gluten-free is really good. It's really good, and it's way better. But it's also a very highly refined grain. So I typically have a boundary with myself about those. And when I go out for a burger, I'll get the burger in lettuce or a burger and just eat it like a like a piece of meat instead of, holding it. I've done both, and it works. And most of the time, I'm really happy with that. But the other day, I wanted a burger in a bun, and it was a gluten-free bun, and it was really delicious. And then the next day, I had some gluten-free, it was actually grain-free and gluten-free pizza, but it was more carbs than I usually had. So 3 days in a row, I had some little indulgences, and I really felt a difference in my body. My stomach was hurting, and I couldn't figure out why, and I just didn't have my usual pep and energy. And I realized, well, it was just a little too much in indulgences. Like I have my boundaries, and then sometimes I flex those boundaries, but this was a little too much flexing, if that makes any sense to you. I hope it does, because I've kind of carved out a way of living that keeps me feeling pretty good all the time. And that's my goal as a health coach, is to help people not only not get diabetes, but just to feel good. It's so amazing when you feel good. And sometimes we don't even know when we don't feel good. I always got drinks at the popular coffee shop. I don't want to throw any brand under the table. I'm not doing that at all. But I would get, started out with like a white chocolate mocha, which is ridiculously delicious. And then I realized how many calories were in it and how much sugar it had in it. And I thought, well, I'll cut back. I'll do chai tea latte. That must be a lot better. So I think it was years that I drank chai tea latte until I finally figured out that that was like 30 grams of sugar, and I would have one or two in a day. But I wasn't thinking of it as eating sugar. If I eat a cookie, I know I'm eating sugar, but I wasn't thinking of a beverage as I should have been and being sugar. So gradually over the journey of my processes, I've figured out some things that have helped me get away from consuming sugar all the time. Now the holiday is coming up, and I'll probably have one little piece of pie, but the meal I will make will be, a nice dinner that has lots of vegetables and things that I really love and enjoy, and probably not too many carbs. And so I can stay on that guiding rail or with those boundaries that help me to feel really good versus, you know what it feels like when you're foggy and you your stomach doesn't feel great and you're bloated, and oh my goodness, making the changes toward the things that help you just feel really good, like 99% of the time, is so worth it. And I've worked really hard at getting to this place, and even to this place of understanding in my life. And another thing I didn't realize was how much I was creating insulin resistance in my metabolism, because none of these things show up right away. And we don't have any way of knowing how much sugar is in our bloodstream at any given time. And that is why I now have integrated into my coaching a 30 days to blood sugar clarity, where you can wear a continuous glucose monitor and actually know how food is affecting you. I'm wearing one. It's a little button on my arm. It's about the size of a quarter. It's flat. I don't even notice it. I put it on, and then I can look at my phone and see how food is affecting me in real time at any time of day or night. Exercise lowers blood sugar. Any type of really good activity helps to lower blood sugar. And then I can kind of measure through the day how what I'm drinking, what I'm eating, what affects my blood sugar, and manage it. I can have control. And for years, I had no clue how much I was hurting myself with my sweet beverages, with bags of chips, with, you know, way years ago, I was addicted, always picking up a candy when I was checking out at the grocery store, or, you know, just really quite addicted to sugar. And I'm excited that I've come this far and figured out a few things. And I've made my career helping people to do the same. And especially because diabetes is such a problem. So many people are getting diabetes. I keep running into people who go for their annual physical and find out they have diabetes, and they didn't know they were anywhere near getting diabetes. It's a shock to them. And doctors don't really explain a lot until you're there. And then they tell you, and then they have a medication, and then you'll stay on medication unless you decide to make a different decision and reverse it, like basically turn the car around and go the other direction. So that's the work I love to do, and I've done the hard work myself. So if it's hard work for anyone that I'm working with, I'm right there, locked arms, right beside you, understanding how difficult it is to make, to do the heavy lifting and to make the changes that make a difference. And that's what is really meaningful work in my life. It's very gratifying. And when I can help people see where they're at, the people that I work with are so excited to make some progress and to learn a few tweaks and a few changes to have better control of their sugar, because they're wearing the CGM and they can see how every meal they eat affects them, and they can gain better control. So that's my little 2 cents on boundaries today. There's all kinds of boundaries. Sometimes it's, saying no, boundaries in relationships. That's not really what I'm getting into, but more about boundaries around our good health and our good habits, and how much that can just benefit and enrich our lives. And when we feel good, we make better choices, we enjoy every day that we live, and we're just happier people. So for as long as we're on the planet, we should be happy and enjoy our life and live with vitality. So thank you for joining here tonight. As the weather gets better, I guess I'll decide if I'm going to continue chatting by the fire or find another option, but that's yet to be decided. And so I hope you're enjoying the better weather here in Connecticut. And if you're already in California or Texas or Florida, where some of our listeners are, well, enjoy the weather that you're having there. I hope it's not too hot yet, and that you're healthy and well. So thank you again. Have a great evening.